the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
The owners. Oh, we're doing this. Great thing we got going here. JP, love it or leave it? Sneed to the Titans, sir.
So, as a Jaguars fan, leave it. But as an NFL fan and objective NFL writer, which I am, always, 100%, don't check my tweets. I love it. I love what L'Jarius Sneed brings in terms of his versatility. He played inside and outside. He shadows number one receivers. He will follow a number one receiver everywhere. It'll unlock a lot of Denard Wilson's defense. Denard Wilson comes from the Jets. He's going to bring kind of that attacking 4-3 defense. And having Chidobe Awuzie and L'Jarius Sneed and Roger McCreary is such a fun corner room. They're all versatile. They're all physical. They're all willing to tackle. And you can really get creative with blitzes and pass coverages because all these guys are so physical and willing to match up with anybody on the field. So I love it. I am kind of wondering what the plan here is for Tennessee. I mean, of course, we're thinking, oh, maybe like we still don't know the jury about Will Levis. Well, the best way to figure out what Will Levis is surround him with every good player in the NFL and figure it out. It's sink or swim time. And if it doesn't work, then, you'll figure it out, or you still have enough cap space next year to maybe swing a trade for a quarterback who's on the market. So I love it, but I am also wondering what their long-term goal is.
I also love it. I think that they're, looking at, okay, we got a lot of cap space. We don't have an expensive quarterback. Let's go out and get a Calvin Ridley. Let's go get a L'Jarius Sneed. They signed Lloyd Cushenberry at center. They're making a lot of moves to, like JP said, to put Will Levis in the best situation that he possibly can to succeed and see what they have. As a Steelers fan, like, I can say what I want about, the Kenny Pickett situation, and obviously everybody knows my feelings about that. But it can also be true that Pittsburgh didn't handle that situation well, where they had a horrible offensive coordinator. They didn't do a lot of things schematically well, and the way that they handled it wasn't right. So the fact that Tennessee is looking at it as like, okay, hiring Brian Callahan, I think, that could have been a good hire, a good offensive-minded hire. To go with Will Levis and getting him weapons and getting him or trying to build a really good defense on the other side of him. I applaud the effort. And if it doesn't work out, they can at least say, okay, well, you know what? We tried. And if Will Levis isn't the guy, then that's okay. We'll try to find the guy, but it's not going to work for lack of trying.
It is interesting that we've kind of just gotten to the point where like, yeah, they're going all in. And then the other side, for Kansas City, I was listening to Eric Eager, and he had somebody on the Sumer Sports NFL show this week, and I like listening to it, but I'm very dumb. It's one of those where I'm listening to the cap breakdown here and like why the Chiefs had to do it. So y'all would answer this better than I in this regard. Why did the Chiefs have to trade L'Jarius Sneed?
Well, they got to pay a lot of people coming up. Creed Humphrey going to get a lot of money. Might be the highest paid center in NFL history by this time next year. Trey Smith going to get a lot of money. You had to pay Chris Jones a whole lot of money. It's one of the benefits, but also one of the drawbacks of drafting so well defensively that when those guys all come up to get paid, you got to make these choices. And I think, again, Kansas City has done so well in their defensive back development. They probably have guys who are ready to step up in the absence of L'Jarius Sneed. Joshua Williams played really well in the first Chiefs Super Bowl run, kind of got cast away or cast off with L'Jarius Sneed moving outside and Trent McDuffie's sticking the inside. He'll move to an outside role. Maybe this is a deep draft for corners. You address corner. You let Trent McDuffie kind of play the outside a little bit more. We'll see what happens there. But really, they had to do this because they weren't going to be able to pay L'Jarius Sneed and Chris Jones and Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and still do everything else that they want to do Because look, as much as people say the salary cap is fake, they are liars. The salary cap is real. That is something that this trade is the reason why the salary cap is real. You just can't pay him what he wants.
And JP pointed it out. Like, I think that they felt comfortable enough with it for multiple reasons. One, they've drafted really well. You know, they drafted L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie, and they both turned out to be studs. They drafted George Karlaftis. They drafted Nick Bolton. They drafted Creed Humphrey. They drafted Trey Smith. Like, all of these guys, like, for as good as Mahomes and Kelsey are, it also needs to be talked about just how well this team has been built around them with mostly homegrown stars. And you know, I think we had, you know, similar conversations after they traded Tyreek Hill. Like, oh my goodness, what's Veach doing? Why are they not just paying Tyreek Hill? Well, they've won 2 Super Bowls ever since the Tyreek Hill trade. So I think that Chiefs fans, at least they should have the utmost confidence in the front office to be like, look, you know, obviously it's not easy to, you know, say goodbye to a guy like L'Jarius Sneed, who's helped the team win 2 Super Bowls. But there's a plan, and it's a defensive back class that's deep enough where they can find somebody to maybe not be as good as L'Jarius Sneed right away, obviously, but if they can be good and be molded and developed into becoming something close to what L'Jarius Sneed was, like they did with Sneed and McDuffie, then great. But the front office has built up more than enough goodwill for fans to look at this and be like, okay, there's obviously a plan here. And once they paid Chris Jones, I think the writing was kind of on the wall for Sneed. Was like, okay, they can't keep both of them. So
I don't know. I want to see 3 Super Bowls in a row before I really start buying into the Veach era in Kansas City. I need to see a little bit more. Speaking of buying into some stuff, Jarrett, something that I saw pop up on Behind the Steel Curtain this week that I wanted to ask you. Is the Tyler Boyd stuff real, and is he a fit in Pittsburgh?
So apparently there's like some sort of standoff's a weird word to use, but like they can't really come to terms yet. I assume it's money. I think it would be a fit. Right now, you look at what the Steelers have done at receiver. It's been a lot of depth moves. You know, they just signed Quez Watkins today. They picked up your boy Van Jefferson not long ago. So you look at their receiver room right now. It's George Pickens, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, Quez Watkins, and then they have Marquez Callaway and Denzel Mims.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.